Good morning everyone. Myself Miss Monica Watts and I am taking chapter 5th of NCERT, that is of biology, the fundamental unit of life. As we have discussed this chapter in 8th class also, so it is easily understandable for you that cell is the structural and functional unit of life. And as you all know that why? Because an organism is basically made up of cell. You can easily observe in this flow chart that cells combine together to form tissue, tissues combine together to form organs combine together to form organ system, and different organ systems are present in an organism. So the structure of an organism is basically depend on the arrangement of cells in that organism, and the functions performed by an organism, basically these basic functions are performed by a cell. So that's why we can say cell is the structural and functional unit of life. Discovery of cell. As we know that cell was observed by Robert Hooke in 1665 under his self-designed microscope. At that time he had his self-designed microscope, means that is just an arrangement of the lenses, and in that microscope he observed a thin slice of cork. A thin slice of cork. It is the outer membrane of the older, not membrane, it is the outer layer of the older stem that you can observe around you, that the woody layer which is present on a stem or you can say trunk of a tree, that is basically cork. He observed honeycomb-like structure of that, and these honeycomb-like structures are appeared to be as the little compartment, and the little compartment in Latin language they are known as cell. So finally those little compartment that were observed by Robert Hooke in 1665, those were cells. After some time it was identified that the cell that were observed by Robert Hooke, basically that cells were dead. This is cell theory. It is new for you and also important. Some postulates were given about the cells by different scientists. The first one, Sheldon 1838 and Schwann 1839. They told about the cell that all the plants and animals are composed of these cells. This is the first postulate given by Sheldon and Schwann. Virchow, he further explained in 1855 that all cells arise from pre-existing cells. That cells arise from pre-existing cells. मीन्स हर ऑर्गेनिज्म में जो सेल प्रेजेंट हैं वो किसी ना किसी सेल से ही बनी हुई हैं, किसी ना किसी सेल से ही वो बनी हुई हैं. And as we know that organisms on the basis of cell, there are two type of organisms, unicellular and multicellular. Cells can be of different types. These types in the different organisms as well as in our body also, in this one organism. So different type of cells in their shape, in their size and in their type we can observe in our body also. Blood cell, nerve cell, bone cells. You can observe here. These are the blood cells, different type. This is bone cell, again a different type cell. This is nerve cell. So cells may be of different types. They may contain different size and the different shape. You can easily observe in this figure. And cell composed of cell organelles, that we will discuss in this chapter. So we will discuss this point later on. there is division of labor in multicellular organism. As I told you that unicellular organism, they are made up of only one cell. All the functions of their body is performed by a single cell. That means all these functions are performed by that single cell. But in multicellular organism, there are many cells. So all these cells divide their function, and this division of functions in a multicellular organism is known as division of labor. That means every multicellular organism contain division of labor in their body. As in our body, the cells of liver perform different function, the cells of lungs perform different function. So there is a division of labor in the multicellular organism. This is the composition of a single cell. As you can observe that this one is the simplest diagram of the cell, which contain only three parts: cell membrane, nucleus and cytoplasm. Every cell is made up of these three main parts. Why we call them main parts? As I told you that Robert Hooke discovered the dead cells. So these three are the important parts of a living cell. If these three are present, then the cell is said to be living, otherwise the cell is dead. So on that basis we can say that the Robert Hooke discovered dead cell. Or you can see a complex diagram of a cell in which a lot of labelings are there, that we will discuss again later. So cell contain these three main parts, but each and every part contain or perform different functions. So let's discuss about the different parts of a cell. The very first part of a cell is plasma membrane, or it is also known as cell membrane. It is the outermost covering of a cell, and because it is the outermost covering not of all the cell, but it is the outermost covering of the animal cell, not of the plant cell. It allow or permit entry and exit of materials in and out of the cell and prevent the movement of other materials. That means जैसे हमारे घर या आप देख सकते हो स्कूल के बाहर एक गार्ड खड़ा होता है, वो गार्ड क्या चीज ध्यान रखता है? That who one is entering inside the school boundary and who is coming out from the school boundary. So that person permits the entry and exit. In the same manner as the cell membrane is the outer membrane in animal cell, so it permits the entry and exit of the material. And selective material, not all the materials, hence it is also called as selectively permeable membrane. Selectively means only some selective particles, permeable means permit करती है, and membrane you know, so it is a membrane which permit only some selective particles. It provide protection against microbe and foreign substance. Yes, क्योंकि microbe और foreign substance हो सकता है हमारे लिए वो अच्छे ना हो, तो उनसे भी जो बेकार वाले जो foes है हमारे लिए microbe, as you have discussed in your 8th chapter microorganism friends and foes. So जो foes हैं जो harmful हैं उनकी entry को अंदर करने नहीं देगा, ये entry नहीं करने देगी. It helps to maintain the shape of the cell. Yes, either the shape is not fixed, but yes, it provides shape. And the basically this one point is not related here, so I am going to delete this point. We will discuss it later. So movement of substances across the cell membrane. As I told you that cell membrane allow the entry and exit of substances. So how does it allow? That means what method it will use. So it use different methods. Some require energy and some do not require energy. Here we will discuss about the method which require energy. The very first is diffusion. Spontaneous movement of substance from a region of high concentration to low. That means when the particles will move from high concentration towards the low concentration, then this movement is known as diffusion. So some particle across the cell membrane will pass through the process of diffusion. As you can see in this picture, this is water in the beaker, and when we add 1 or 2 drop of any colored component, then it start to spread inside the whole liquid from their high concentration towards their low concentration, and it become like that. Another is osmosis process. मूवमेंट ऑफ वाटर, देखिए डिफ्यूजन में मैंने नहीं बोला था कि वाटर है कि सॉलिड है कि गैस है, बट ऑस्मोसिस में बोल रहे हैं मूवमेंट ऑफ वाटर फ्रॉम अ रीजन ऑफ हाई कंसंट्रेशन टू लो थ्रू अ सेलेक्टिवली परमिएबल मेम्ब्रेन. सो ऑस्मोसिस प्रोसेस में वाटर के पार्टिकल्स हाई कंसंट्रेशन से लो कंसंट्रेशन की तरफ मूव करेंगे, और किसके थ्रू मूव करेंगे? सेलेक्टिवली परमिएबल मेम्ब्रेन. You can see in this picture, this one is a solution in which the high sugar water molecules and the sugar molecules are present here. Sugar molecules are less at this side and more at this side. But we will not discuss about the movement of sugar molecule. We will discuss about the movement of water. So, as the sugar molecules are more here, it means the water molecules are less. So they start to move from high concentration to the low concentration, and this one is the selectively permeable membrane in between. You can see here also that water molecule start to move from high concentration to low. So this one process is known as osmosis process. And osmosis is of two types. One is known as endosmosis, another is known as exo. Means वाटर के पार्टिकल जब किसी सेल के अंदर एंट्री करेंगे, बाहर के रीजन से अंदर एंट्री करेंगे, then that is endosmosis. And exoosmosis, when the particles will come out from the cell. इन दोनों टर्म को हम एक एक्सपेरिमेंट के थ्रू अब आगे समझेंगे. So next one is, this is another mode of movement of particles, and this one takes place especially in amoeba. So I have written here how amoeba obtain its food, because amoeba contains plasma membrane or cell membrane, so that membrane is very much flexible and it can change its size, it can change its shape. So with the help of flexibility of cell membrane, amoeba, when it detect any food particle around it, then its membrane circled around that food particle by making foot-like structure, that is pseudopodia. Basically these are its foot. So by making this structure, and finally the food particle get inside and it form a vacuole-like area around the food. Basically in this vacuole the food enter. In this vacuole the food enter and finally it will digest here. So due to the flexibility of cell membrane, it permits or it enable to get the food inside, or you can say to engulf the food from its external environment, and this process is known as endocytosis. So these are the different methods by which substance will get enter inside or outside the cell. This one is types of solution. There are three types of solution on the basis of water concentration. Hypotonic solution. It is a kind of solution when the concentration of water is outside the medium is more than inside the cell. Means अगर आपने किसी सॉल्यूशन के अंदर कोई प्लांट या एनिमल सेल को प्लेस किया और प्लांट या एनिमल सेल के अंदर प्रेजेंट वाटर के कंटेंट या प्रेजेंट वाटर की कंसंट्रेशन बाहर मीडियम के अंदर प्रेजेंट वाटर की कंसंट्रेशन से कम है, इसका मतलब बाहर के मीडियम में वाटर ज़्यादा और अंदर सेल में वाटर कम, तो ऐसे सॉल्यूशन को बोलते हैं हाइपोटोनिक सॉल्यूशन। एंड क्योंकि हाइपोटोनिक सॉल्यूशन में हमेशा वाटर की कंसंट्रेशन सेल की कंसंट्रेशन से ज़्यादा होगी, तो हमेशा इसमें वाटर सेल के अंदर एंटर करेगा, बिकॉज एज वी नो फ्रॉम हाई कंसंट्रेशन टू लो कंसंट्रेशन वाटर विल मूव, सो दैट प्रोसेस इज एंडोस्मोसिस। रिवर्स हैपन इन हाइपरटोनिक। इस सॉल्यूशन में सॉल्यूशन के अंदर वाटर की कंसंट्रेशन कम होती है और सेल के अंदर वाटर की कंसंट्रेशन ज़्यादा, तो वाटर हमेशा सेल से बाहर निकलेगा, दिस इज एक्सोस्मोसिस। And isotonic is a kind of solution in which the concentration of water is almost equal inside the cell and outside the solution. So there is no overall movement of water, and hence we can say we cannot observe any change. You can observe this slide. This is the experimental observation. Here is the plant cell. Plant cell, when it is placed in hypotonic solution, then due to endosmosis water will get inside. देखिए आप देखिए वाटर का साइन लगा हुआ है कि वाटर अंदर एंट्री कर रहा है। सो द सेल बिकम टर्जिड। टर्जिड मीन्स फूल जाती है, एकदम स्वेलअप हो जाती है। In the isotonic solution, because the concentration outside and inside the cell is same, so water, the amount of water that is getting inside, the same amount of water is getting outside. So there is no overall movement. In the hypertonic solution, as the water concentration outside the medium is less, whereas inside it is more. So the water which is present inside the cell, it comes out from the cell, and the outer membrane of the cell becomes shrink, and this kind of plant cell, not animal cell, this kind of plant cell is known as shrinked cell, and this process is especially known as plasmolyzed. We will discuss it also. In animal cell we can observe that hypotonic solution, when water getting inside, एनिमल सेल के पास जो आउटर मेम्ब्रेन होती है वो बहुत ज़्यादा स्ट्रेंथ वाली मेम्ब्रेन नहीं होगी, जबकि प्लांट सेल के पास आप देख रहे हैं डबल डबल मेम्ब्रेन है। आपने 8th क्लास में पढ़ा था ना कि प्लांट सेल के पास सेल मेम्ब्रेन भी होती है और सेल वॉल भी। एनिमल सेल के पास वो सेल वॉल नहीं है। सो जैसे ही वाटर अंदर एंटर करेगा, फर्स्ट इट विल स्वेल एंड देन इट बर्स्ट। आइसोटोनिक सॉल्यूशन अगेन द सेम, नो ओवरऑल मूवमेंट, and in hypertonic solution the water come out from the cell and cell will shrink. So today's lecture we will discuss about only these type of solution, and we will start cell wall in the next lecture. Till then, be happy, goodbye.